Hello, I'm Jared from JaredJustScored. Welcome to a bit of a different video. Again, we're trying to do a whole bunch of different series on the channel. And today we're going to be doing a theory video. And this theory is concerning the ending and what it could possibly mean for the movie Life. A 2017 science fiction, thriller, horror film. I don't even consider it body horror. Written by Daniel Espinosa and written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Had to have that on the side. And really what the ending could mean, and just some potential ideas for a sequel that I've thought of. Now, as obviously this is talking about the ending of the movie, so I'd recommend if you have not watched it, please go watch it. It's a decent movie, very interesting very interesting. Cause if you're really big into biology, you probably like the movie because it's very realistic and it's very interesting. But yeah, if you don't like spoilers, get out. But yeah, just do it before I even get to the theory though. What the ending is and what it can mean in some theories. Let's just get the main one out of the way. This is not a prequel to Venom, okay? There's like a 3% chance this is going to be there's going to be anything to do with Venom. Mostly because, well, the main thing is, it just doesn't fit, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where the movie is not as grand or as, fantastical as, Venom or any other superhero like Spider-Man and stuff, and it's very grounded. I don't want to say grounded entirely in reality, but this is a very realistic movie if nothing else. So I just don't believe that Venom really fits in it. So I'm not going to go into potentially this being a Venom prequel. I hope to God it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is not. But just to really quickly go over the ending in the fastest way I possibly can. Essentially, there's two main characters left after the main creature, which is named Calvin, which is a creature that can constantly evolve after assimilating biomatter. It starts out like a few cells and it eats a rat. It continuously evolves and grows stronger and more powerful, and it eventually escapes and kills everybody but the main two characters. The main character named David something. I know their main name off the top of my head. It's David. Shit. It's David, Jordan, and I have the Wikipedia just in case I forget anything, but their names are Dr. David Jordan and Dr. Miranda North. So I'm going to call Miranda and David for simplicity's sake. But essentially, David and Miranda are left, the only survivors of the ship besides Calvin, of course. And David formulates a plan to guide Calvin into David's ship, or escape pod, and launch it into space so they can so Calvin can not enter Earth and potentially fuck up the world. And he's going to send Miranda back to orbit so she can survive, basically sacrificing himself. So the plan works fine. The Calvin reaches into his ship and starts attacking him and ship, and he manages to launch both of them. They both fly as they would expect it to, but one problem earlier in the film there is earlier in the film, basically one of the characters tried to escape and it ended up fucking him, and he destroyed, part of the space station got destroyed and he got killed. And the debris knocked David and Miranda's ship completely different ways. So Miranda actually went off and flew into fucking the great beyond. She died. I said, well, I don't think she's dead, but she's gonna die. Because her machine's failing because it was damaged very heavily. And, she really didn't have a chance. But David, on the other hand, David is shot right towards Earth's orbit with Calvin. And, Calvin's, attacking him and shit. But essentially what happens is, when it reaches Earth's orbit, and it's found by, I believe, fishermen. I think it was fishermen. Calvin's not there. What was Calvin is this black viscous substance, again, which leads to people think it's Venom, but it's not Venom. And he's like, oh, don't open the fucking door. We're gonna open the door. And then they're thousands, not thousands, but a lot of other ships are also coming towards us as the movie ends. So, what that means is, if you guys watch the movie, earlier in the film, the main biologist, I think his name's Hugh something, I'm calling Hugh, he manages to resuscitate or bring, Calvin out of its dormancy by basically being able to mimic what Earth's atmosphere was like 30 million years ago is what I believe. I think that's what they said. And it manages to bring the creature out of its dormancy. But you gotta think, it's 30 million years ago from what it is currently. So when Calvin, along with David, both enter the Earth's atmosphere, Calvin goes back in dormancy because it's not used. It's like climate shock. It's such a shock to the organism that it goes back into a new dormant state. the difference of it being dormant is like one cell. Obviously, it's one cell. You can't really do much, but as it's such like a large and a highly evolved creature as it is at the end of the movie, instead of just becoming like one cell dormant, it actually becomes like this thick black viscous substance, where basically it's kind of like I won't even say like kind of like a fungus, like kind of because it can work with photosynthesis. So I just imagine that it just kind of went all fungal, kind of covered the walls and covered David and just kind of went to dormancy. So that could mean that it's dormant. The Earth is fine. There's no way for it to get out because it's dormant for a period of time, or at least enough to save it. But what I believe happened and what my theory comes in is this isn't the end of Calvin, but no. Essentially, what happened is I believe Calvin is dormant, but it's trying to adapt to the new atmosphere. Like, it's one of those things where it's gonna come back in a different form because it kind of I almost want to say exploded because it was such a shock to its system. But I don't believe it's dead. I believe it's just like trying to adapt to like the new atmosphere and trying to like evolve. It's trying to re-evolve, if you get what I'm saying. And I don't know how long that takes. It usually doesn't take that long because it didn't take that long for the creature to absorb a rat as soon as it got out of the cage or the containment unit. So I believe that due to the fact that there are a lot of humans in the area when the fisherman like opens the escape pod, yeah, that's pretty bad because if it takes just a few minutes for it to regain gain consciousness or return to or out of dormancy, and there could be like there could be dozens there could be quite a few people in the general area. Like there could be like upwards of dozens, maybe even nearly 100 humans in that area going towards Calvin, and the fact that they're in the ocean, which I was reading a little interview with the creator of Life talking about the potential ideas for the sequel, and he's talking about Calvin, they were kind of teasing, talking about Calvin can just come back because it's kind of the whole cycle. It's like they thought they contained it, it breaks out, it gets contained again, they break it out, it gets broken out, etc. And they said, we can continue that cycle. So that pretty much says that Calvin is in fact alive. I'm not sure in what form it will take if there is a sequel of Life. My idea is more of like, because you gotta think Calvin was born in a zero gravity environment. So it evolved to kind of take that to account. So instead of having bone, which you would usually need in like that to keep its body upright, it didn't need that because there's no gravity involved and it can just kind of be fuck around as it does. But if they make a sequel where it's on Earth and again it has to kind of re-evolve, I believe that it would either be more insectoid or like, because I don't just want to say it's going to be like the Blob, because that's just boring, because what I'm saying, there's already Blob movies, and I believe I want it, if it were to take place more in the ocean, that'd be okay, I guess, like a giant Kraken Calvin. That's a terrible name, but but I think it should like evolve like musculature and bone and such, and like actually be like an actual like coherent organism, if just to abuse the term, and it would be like a lot more powerful. It could still evolve and like grow stronger over time, and it would be interesting to see how the creature would react to like heavy biological warfare, like bacteria. I think it's kind of interesting to watch like if like the military like tried to use like viruses and see how it would affect the creature. Be very interesting to see for a sequel. Also to the I don't know if in the Life, let's just say Life 2, if in Life 2 it would be killed, because it's just one of those creatures that nothing in the film that was shown could damage it at all. Like fire couldn't damage it, nothing could really damage it. So like like it does need air to survive, which it's not a problem in the Earth's atmosphere. So maybe we'll do something along the lines of like trying to push it into space where it could like like choke or basically where it'll die, and something maybe something like that. I'm trying to think of other different forms it could take. Another form I think it could take would be something maybe on the lines of like a large water bear. Because, I think Calvin and a water bear are very similar. It sounds weird, it's like a giant water bear, but water bears have a very high survivability rate as well. They can survive in space, they can survive like underwater, they can survive basically anywhere. And that would also be very interesting. But I also want to see what happened to David, because they were not very clear on what happened to David. But in the last moments of the film, David was in fact alive. So, what could have possibly happened to David and not, I don't know, like, I want to say, because he had a lot of the substance on his body, so for all we know, the creature could have just been like, it could be attached to him and like, basically sucking out taking out his fluids, and trying to keep, basically trying, kind of like a lifeline to survive in such like a different environment, like, due to such a shock in its system. So, but maybe if David did survive, he could be the main character of the next movie and kind of, try to work with the military and try to explain it, shit like that. That's really about it, though. Like, I really just want, like, just overall, what I believe what's going to happen is that Calvin will come back in, like, more evolved, like, more of a coherent form, instead of looking like a weird, like, it's kind of like an octopus mixed with, like, lettuce or something. It looks pretty fucking weird, like a head of lettuce. As I read in some story, I was doing a bit of research over this before I recorded it, and it's pretty good, pretty understandable. It doesn't look fucking weird, but maybe it feels in an Earth's atmosphere. I just want to see what it looks like. So that kind of ends up its theory. Put your theories in the comment section below of what you think could have happened concerning Calvin's fate and concerning the fate of Earth at the end of life, and what your hopes will be for a live sequel if they do make one. But that being said, I am Jared from JaredJustScored. If you guys enjoyed the film, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. All the channels in the description below. Along with myself, I'm trying. Any amount of subscribers will help greatly and will make me do videos faster and with more finesse. So I'm Jared. Talk to you guys later. Bye.